Let's talk about laptops. It seems like everyone's taking them for granted these days. They helped shape the world since the start of this millennium, yet it seems like everyone is going for these little slabs of glass that break easier than most people's hearts these days. I mean, look at this Sony Vaio E series from 2010. It has stood the test of time and it can do almost everything that this bad boy can from like a year ago, except gaming. But that's not the point. The point is, you can't say the same about a smartphone from the same era as this laptop. And so, in the honor of this decade-old Sony Vaio, we are going to talk about laptops, specifically how you can buy one at a reasonable price that will last you really long. My name is Shubham Raheja, you are watching Elemental, where we talk about the smaller things in tech that make a much bigger impact on the real world. Catch us every Sunday at 1 p.m. and if you're particularly excited, just like me, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so that you know exactly when we put out our latest videos. Like everything expensive you buy for yourself, buying a laptop is also a strong decision. Now, I do understand that the world of laptops is incredibly diverse. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are more powerful than others, some are like portable. It can kind of get confusing out there. So let me simplify the process for you. First, pick your budget. Please don't send messages to that one tech-savvy friend of yours saying, hey, suggest me some good laptops, please. And then when they reply for how much, you just say, I don't know, I just want a laptop. Just don't be that person. Deciding your budget is the most important step of buying a laptop. And that's because no one other than you knows in the world how much you are willing to spend. It also helps you narrow down the field of options that you have and set realistic expectations. Unfortunately, low-cost laptops are unlikely to have a lot of conveniences, such as a backlit keyboard, a touchscreen, USB Type-C ports, or a speedy SSD. More affordable laptops also tend to be larger and heavier, which might sound counterintuitive, but this is because of the materials used and the complexities of squeezing components into tight spaces. If your budget is extremely tight, you'll find that there are very few options under 15,000 rupees. And you're not gonna do much with them other than just surfing the web and just watching an occasional video. And when it comes to build quality, you can't really expect much, can you? You also wouldn't have much storage space or scope for upgrades, but even such affordable laptops might let you get much more work done than you would be able to with just a smartphone. Now, while you're being thrifty, you might also want to look at some refurbished devices off some e-commerce websites, but there are some caveats to that. They are products that have been used or returned. Most sites claim that they are inspected and tested by qualified suppliers to work and look like new. So just make sure that the laptop you're going for is still under warranty. For gaming, you'll have to gather at least 60,000 bucks, and if you want top-end style and performance, you can keep scaling up and the prices can easily go beyond 2 lakh rupees. Now that we are on to step 2, let's decide the ideal weight, size and the form factor of the laptop of your dreams. Laptops are generally classified by the sizes of their screens, starting at around 11 inches and going all the way up to 15, 16 or even 17 inches. Sizes aren't necessarily proportional to the price of a laptop, so a lot of times you'll find 15-inch models priced cheaper than 13-inch ones. Now once you're done with that, you might want to take a look at the weight of it, because if you're on the move a lot, you don't want to be carrying around a bulky laptop. But then let's accept it, where are you gonna go now? Am I right? No? It's alright. You will pay more for very slim and light models, But look at the spec sheet very carefully, because one way to shed weight is to use weaker processors that don't require a lot of cooling. Then you will also have to see if you want a convertible laptop or those that flip 180 degrees. Now that we have a solid foundation, let's start adding specs to it. A few moments ago, we were talking about sizes. Just like other things in life, size doesn't mean everything. You will also need to look at resolution. Low-cost laptops still have 1366 by 768 displays, which look terrible on 15-inch laptops. Try for at least a 1080p display, which is also called Full HD. You can also look at throwing in a higher refresh rate display if you game a lot, or a 4K display if you're a media consumer. But your price is going to go up accordingly. Now when it comes to CPU, GPU, RAM and storage options, it's kind of messy out there. So let me help you out with that as well. Starting with the CPU, Intel dominates the laptop market. But AMD options should not be ignored. AMD's current Ryzen CPUs are powerful and don't run hot, which seems to be a popular misconception in the market. You will probably find multiple generations of CPUs, with the 10th generation being the latest Intel ones currently available, and it's the 4000 series on the AMD side. Obviously, newer is better, but you will find lots of older models around, which can offer decent performance for lower prices. Performance scales up as you go from Celeron to Pentium, Core i3, i5, i7, and now even i9. And conversely, from Ryzen 3 to Ryzen 5 to Ryzen 7, and then finally Ryzen 9. The general rule is to go for the best you can afford, but just prefer newer over older. As for graphics, majority of laptops make do with GPUs integrated into CPUs, and they are good enough for pretty much everything except heavy 3D gaming and content creation. If you're sticking to thin and light laptops, you probably wouldn't even have a choice of a discrete GPU. Now when it comes to GPUs, there are two options to choose from, and those are AMD and Nvidia. But Nvidia has the upper edge because it has better power efficiency, which basically means your laptop will run cooler and quieter for a longer period of time. But when it comes to gaming, Nvidia is often the only choice that you will get. The GeForce RTX 20 series and GeForce GTX 16 series offer different levels of performance, but are both current gen. Again, get the best that your budget allows, because games in the future may need more and more power. RAM is a fairly simple specification. There aren't as many variables in your control, so just get as much as you can. 8GB should be the minimum for a mainstream laptop today, but 4GB is still very common in the budget space. For gaming, try to get at least 16GB. Many larger laptops allow you to add more RAM later, but you most likely won't be able to upgrade thin laptops, just so you know. Storage is a bit more difficult because you won't have many choices. An SSD will be way faster than a hard disk and will make a huge difference to how fast a laptop feels. Whether it's booting up, resuming from standby, opening programs, or waiting for files to load. Sadly, low-cost laptops with SSDs are extremely rare, even if you're okay with like really small quantities. Mostly you'll find hard drives with varying capacities or embedded flash storage in very small amounts. If you can stretch your budget a little bit, at least try to get a laptop with smaller SSD just for Windows to boot from, plus a large hard drive for all your files. Step 4 is basically figuring out what you want in life, man. A lot of times, seemingly tiny things like a good touchpad or keyboard can make or break a deal. This is especially true for people who type a lot on the move, because the things like key travel and the dimensions of your touchpad matter a lot. For gamers and people who work late at night, backlit keyboards are a lifesaver. For people who tend to connect multiple devices at once, may also want to see how many ports you want, what kind of ports you want, and whether or not your system comes with Windows pre-installed. You should also think of your laptop from a third person's view. Is it appropriate in a meeting room? Because at the end of the day, you will be spending a lot more time on a laptop than you may actually think. Honestly, we would love you to try out laptops in person at a physical store, but sadly, we cannot recommend that to you at the moment. But you can go online and check video or written reviews, and also check customer feedback on e-commerce websites. I also dream about them, but I think that's optional. And those were the steps that will definitely make your laptop buying experience much smoother. Are you planning to buy a laptop? Let us know in the comments. And just to remind you, new Elemental videos come out every Sunday at 1 p.m. So just subscribe. And for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.